Biden by saying Donald Trump will be worse and calling it a day. The argument is just not hitting. There are a couple of reasons for that. Number one, I think you can't force people into voting for Joe Biden by saying Donald Trump will be worse and calling it a day. The argument is just not hitting. There are a couple of reasons for that. Number one, I think people are so fatigued of feeling like they're having to pick the lesser of two evils, but also, I don't think people think Joe Biden is the lesser of two evils. You gotta remember, it's not like people were super excited to vote for Joe Biden in the first place. Who voted for Biden were basically like, I mean, we don't want Trump. Who else you got? Biden? I guess. And Biden's big promise, in my opinion, right, what people thought Biden was going to do was forgive student loans for everybody. Yes, I understand the Supreme Court got involved and struck down student loan forgiveness for everybody across the board, and yet still, a lot of people through programs that the Biden administration has enacted still had their student loans canceled. I'm not one of them. My student loans have not been canceled, but I already told y'all, it's above me now. My Lord and Savior Jesus Christ will pay those. So even if you get past that frustration, if you're talking to somebody and they bring up the student loan forgiveness, say you can convince them that that wasn't Joe Biden's fault, right? Say you move past that and you get into how Joe Biden has reacted to Israel and Palestine, and I think people think you're downplaying how upset people are regarding Joe Biden's reactions to Israel and Palestine. Realistically, Joe Biden was never going to turn his back on Israel. America has shown you throughout history, right, that this country will not turn its back on its ally, Israel. Where that might have worked in the past, the tide is changing, and people don't feel like that anymore.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about old Joe Biden, who I now have a new nickname for, okay? My new nickname for Joe Biden is Sackchinian Joe, right? Because this picture right here always gets me, okay, of whatever the hell is going on with what's going on with Sackchinian. But I do know that in terms of how people are feeling about Sackchinian Joe, slept, okay? His overall approval rating is now at 37%. Now, this comes as, I've talked about this before, the left is turning their backs on Joe Biden because they don't like his response to the Israel/Palestine situation, okay? They don't like it. So now a lot of these young college students who, you know, we see are clearly very passionate about this issue, they're coming out and declaring, we're not voting for Joe, right? We didn't even want to vote for you in the first place. The only reason we voted for you is because we have a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome. So therefore, we're going to vote for you, not because we like you, but simply because we hate Trump. Now, again, fast forward 2 to 3 years into Biden's presidency, what people are saying, the obvious reality, considering what's going on in the world, what's going on at the border, what's going on with the economy, what's going on with crime. The Biden administration, objectively speaking, has been a disaster, okay? There's no real reason to vote for him, okay? The narrative that on...
Okay, so I got through the first course, so now I'm doing like the routing part, tackling VLANs. I'm gonna try to get an A this time. I've been like, work has been like really crazy, so, and I've been taking like 8-week classes. Well, this is the second part of the CCNA, so as I haven't really been recording any of this stuff because sometimes I just don't really feel like setting up everything between work and this. So I just been keeping up with the class and not really coming on here and not really recording just because I don't have the energy to. I'm supposed to be going to 8-hour work days soon, so I'll be able to record a lot more. Well, not record, but stream a lot more, so that's good. But it'll only be that way for about a month, until the end of December. No, until the end of November, and then I'll go back to 12-hour days. So that's just gonna suck. So I'm gonna try to stream more networking before I have to go back to 12-hour work days. But for now, we're starting VLANs, which is cool. I'm just gonna do one packet exercise today and then call it a night. Tomorrow I gotta catch up. I'm like behind by like 7 packet tracer assignments, but whatever.
But man bad was the biggest problem with America, and you just had to remove him from office and everything would be rainbow and roses because the adults are back in charge, turned out to be a massive lie that has cost this country dearly. Okay, and again, that is showing up in the polls as Trump again is leading regularly in national polls and also in swing state polls as well too.
Some key swing states, a morning consult Bloomberg poll of the top 7 swing states, Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, show Trump leading Biden in 5 of them, 5 out of 7. While
I mean, it does, but I gotta, how can I say this? It does have priority. However, when you work in 12 hours, and then you have to like study and then everything is condensed into 8 weeks, bruh. Like, I'll do like one exercise at work and then I have to go to coding because I don't like making websites, especially like the front end part of websites. Like, I'm just not a front end person. But I figure out code pretty good, I believe. So I've been going online like at work. I can actually show you guys. I can't put my job logo on there. I can take that out, but I've been using JavaScript plugins from like ZingChart and ZingGrid. It's a JavaScript library, and I've been using that to help me cut out a lot of the coding for the front end. So, and I'm kind of like, I would say more, I'm just like their developer, even though like it's an IT job, right? It's essentially an IT role, but we're like, if we can get someone who's IT and a programmer, that would be great for them. So, I, essentially got hired for backend, and I was in charge of their like database and getting some data for them and putting it on Power BI. Never thought about doing anything related to Power BI. And I can teach some of you guys how to do teach you guys how to do Power BI projects if that's something you want to do. If that's something that you want to see, it's more like data science or whatever. So it's just taking queries from a database and then just displaying it in graphic, stuff. Like I said, I'm more of a back-end person. I'm not a front-end person. But with Power BI, you can only put so much on a screen. So they're like, can we make a customized website? And I was like, kind of don't want to. But hey, how are you going to move up in the world, these days? How are you going to move up if you don't take on things that you just don't want to do? That's the nature of having a job, for being an adult, So I've been, I've been keeping up on my thing. Obviously, I'm in the second course. You can't even get into the second course without passing the first course, but I just couldn't stream it as much as I wanted. I would be up sometimes, late into the night, and then, you know, chatting with the boyfriend, so I had to like prioritize things, and I really haven't been having much fun, but, you know, not to mention, if I want to be my goal in life is to be a site reliability engineer. So, you know, not only does that include, you know, networking, but Docker, and I'm specializing in Azure. I mean, I also would have to learn, I wouldn't say learn, but I would have to know a little bit about full stack development just in case, you know, so I guess it all is skills building on top of each other, but, you know, this is only I'm only going to be out here for a couple of years, and could finally go back to a regular, you know, 9 to 5, whatever have you job. You know, I would love to go back to an 8-hour shift, but, and then, you know, I gotta go to the gym, can't be getting fat out here, you know, so, like, priorities, man. I can either stream, take my ass to the gym. I get up at 3:30 in the morning, so, y'all, I'm sorry, I just haven't been, I haven't been really accommodating to my audience. Oh yeah, you know, at least it's over here. It's like 7:30 right now. Normally I would be in the bed by 9. Sometimes I start to wind down around like 8. Hey, there were times I would get off of work and go to bed at like 6 o'clock because I would be just so tired. Working from 3:30 to like 5. That's when I get off. That's literally when I'm home. I leave the house at 4, and then like 4:30, and then I'm back at the house at like freaking 5, the latest. No, I can't. You say if you don't mind saying, okay, if it's not none of my business. What do you mean? No, I couldn't do that. Like, not to I couldn't do that. I don't want to give access to, you know, with the one thing with networking, I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to give no one any access. And that's the thing too. I can see someone doing like the front end stuff, but then I would have to tie in the front end to the back end. And honestly, I just hate front end. But whatever. It's a necessary evil. It's probably why I liked working on, you know, embedded stuff. It was all back end engineering, so you didn't really there was no like front end shit. So I kind of like that better. All right, but you said if you don't mind, oh, what time zone? Oh, so that's what you're asking. Sorry. Time zone, shit. I don't even know what Kuwait's time zone is. I'm just over here. I'm over in the Middle East. So it's been a little crazy, y'all. Some people won't want to say any info, even time, which is cool. But I think you said it's like some. Yeah, I'm in the Middle East. I really don't care when it comes to that. But yeah. I can't wait to go back to 8 hours. Yeah, I want to be here for like